All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man.
That's a big twink.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a toy!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
The city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G episode 244. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
On this cold, snowy
Winter's night.
Yeah. Our show right before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We were just talking about our favorite Thanksgiving foods before we started recording.
Turkey or pie. Dude, I like the classic pumpkin is amazing, but my mom also makes like a really good like huckleberry. That's Thanksgiving to me right there. But then like Thanksgiving also just like the leftovers that you can just eat with rolls and just
right. Well, that's the other one of the best parts of Thanksgiving is you have leftovers for days.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you can have Thanksgiving dinner all over again the next day.
I think everything tastes better and great with gravy on it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I could probably eat like a raw animal corpse if it had gravy on it.
I actually, okay, side tangent here.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. I'm like, they have some really bizarre foods that if they were to put enough sugar on it, I'm sure they could get people to just eat it without even knowing, right?
Probably.
Put enough high fructose corn syrup on it, and yeah.
So I'm gonna bring this up really quick. So I was talking with a coworker. I don't know. Maybe we'll save this for end credits. No, I'll talk about it now. And you know that when we take breaks, the smokers and the non-smokers kind of separate, right?
Right.
Non-smokers, we go to the break room. The smokers go outside. Well, I guess the smokers were talking about genocide.
Okay.
On one of the breaks. So he came back in, and one of them came up to me and was like, I want to ask you a question. Like, okay.
Hey, non-smoker. Did he refer to you as a non-smoker? No. Hey, non-smoker, get over here. I got a question for you. And you're like, yes, as you know, smell his breath.
Yes,
like,
smoker. But he goes, do you think genocide is ever a good thing? And I'm like, I mean, my initial reaction was no, of course not.
Yeah.
Then I went back to work and started thinking about it. And I'm like, well,
there's good times, right? Perhaps.
Because, I mean, if half, because I called him and I said, what are you, Thanos? Because he was kind of for it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if half the population was gone all of a sudden, that would
help out the environment.
It would.
Yeah.
It'd clear up a lot of our pollution. It'd clear up the water. It would clear up a lot of stuff.
But I feel like it would go kind of like, and that's always kind of bothered me a little bit of how they portrayed life without half the universe in the MCU.
Yeah.
Is just because I imagine it would be more of like a Wild Wild West kind of scenario. And like there'd be like a money land grab, like everybody like a lawless time for a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in like the Spider-Man movie, they just had it like, oh, they came back, you know, let's put them back in school, everything's back to normal, and it was kind of like all happy and rainbows and stuff. And I'm like, no, like if half your neighbors were gone, you could take whatever you wanted. You could do whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd break into their house and start stealing their stuff.
I imagine 100%. It would be like closer to like more like New Orleans, or you know, however you want to say it. You know, after Hurricane Katrina, where everybody's just like doing whatever. It's kind of more of a lawless time, and that's when you'd need superheroes the most. And it'd be similar to No Man's Land, the Batman graphic novel.
Yeah.
And I really think that people would just start kind of like grouping up and doing their own things. And that's when, like, that to me would be really interesting to explore, is what these superheroes were doing to kind of like keep the cities and streets safe during this time. you know, but they
That
just
would be
kind of like
cool.
made it like all nice and
Mhm.
you know, happy.
Yeah. And basically the conclusion I came to is like, well, I don't agree with like genocide when it comes to like mass murdering people.
Yeah.
But if there was like some sort of virus that came on and eliminated half the population,
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Pinky? We just like start, you know, make the T virus.
yeah.
Get it started. Hey, we've been going about this the wrong way, Troy. We're trying to get famous, you know? We could become infamous a lot easier.
It's true. We could become infamous,
Yes.
as they said in Three Musketeers.
Yeah, let's get to This Week in Geek.
Yeah.
Netflix will be premiering a new exciting series about the Mayan civilization. This is brought to us by the director that did the Book of Life, and he kind of said it's going to be similar to like a let's see, I'll get his exact saying. Lord of the Rings, but funnier, and it is going to be animated as well.
Animated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I imagine it's going to be kind of similar to that same art style. This is a
Right.
picture from like the Book of Life, but that they have on the actual article. But I don't know. I've never like really explored the. Oh, let's see. Here he says, like a Mexican Lord of the Rings, but with comedy. That's how he described it. I've never been too interested in the Mayan civilization. Some of the artifacts are kind of cool, and like the pyramids like date back as far as like other Egyptian pyramids,
Yeah.
if not further.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Or when they, you know, going through the jungle, explorers or come across this like these cool different things. But overall, I've never been like too interested with that. I don't know.
See, and I'd be more interested because when I saw that article, I didn't realize it was animated. I'd be more interested if it was like maybe like a documentary series.
Okay, kind of
Or-
Pompeii-esque.
Yeah,
more like
more realistic. Like I'm not interested in a comedy cartoon
right.
about the Mayans. Like that doesn't interest me. But if it was more realistic, if it was like more of a Planet Earth type of documentary or kind of a National Geographic documentary where they were talking about the Mayans and
Where it's more factual.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where they had like reenactments of these things. I think that would be a lot. I'd be more interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting the things you like when you grow up and the things you're not interested in. Like, oh, a bright, funny cartoon? No, thanks.
No. I want something more dark, gritty, or like educational.
Educational. So it's kind of funny. The next three stories we have here are all basically the same.
Yeah.
Because people now have been coming out of the woodwork ever since Martin Scorsese went off on superhero films and everything.
It seems like every other article you come across is about another celebrity like having an opinion on why these films are bad.
Yeah.
And like ruining the industry.
It's like it's giving people permission now to like, oh, I can talk about this.
Which that's so interesting to me because that happens a lot in Hollywood. Like once one person gets the ball rolling, it's just like this. I mean, it comes, like you were saying, like out of the woodwork, everybody's like jumping on board, you know?
I mean, now to his credit, Alan Moore, who is a comic book writer who wrote Watchmen, all that.
Swamp Thing, and many others, yeah.
He's been dissing the superhero culture for 30 years, but he recently went off on the current pop culture or superhero culture, and he's distanced himself from everything Watchmen. Just to kind of give you where his mindset is.
Yeah.
He doesn't take royalties from any of that stuff. He doesn't like that his characters have now been adapted into movies and television shows. He doesn't like that
Think
at
he
all.
still watches it, or doesn't even pay attention?
I don't
to
think
it?
he watches it.
Huh?
Like if you notice on the credits of Watchmen, it only says Watchmen co-created by
Right.
Dave Gibbons.
Yeah.
It doesn't say Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. So this is what he says about superhero films, and this the way he talks, it's so Alan Moore-y.
He did drugs for a long time, dude.
I'm-
Like there were some, like, you read some of his stuff and it's like it's incredible, but then you read other of his stuff more during, you know, the 70s, 80s, that time period. And it is bizarre and just weird, and I don't know.
Yeah. So Alan Moore is a British guy. He's an English guy, so I'm gonna read this the way I picture him saying it.
Okay.
Primarily, mass-market superhero movies seem to be abetting an audience who do not wish to relinquish their grip on A, the relatively reassuring childhoods, or B, the relatively reassuring 20th century. The continuing popularity of these movies, to me, suggests some kind of deliberate, self-imposed state of emotional arrest.
Poppycock. I don't know. I just
Combined-
feel like he should have been saying something.
Combined with a numbing condition of cultural stasis that can be witnessed in comics, movies, popular music, and indeed right across the cultural spectrum.
Here, 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 here. Oh, jeez.
I mean, what bugs me about this is he is in that industry.
Yeah, this is
He
his
is
bread and butter.
Yeah, he is a comic book writer, but he's one of those guys that it's like actors. Okay, I was recently watching Hot Ones with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah,
and
I watched that one as well.
Yeah, and she was saying that she didn't become an actress, get famous and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, you did. Yeah, don't
bullshit. Like,
yeah,
I'm
don't talk about
it's
it's all about the art and disappearing into a role. It's like, no, you got into that business to be rich and famous.
Yeah,
like anybody who says different is lying.
Well, I don't think that they know entirely what famous entails.
Yeah.
With that lifestyle, like once you actually get into it and you're like, oh man, I have no privacy whatsoever. I have to have like security guards with me constantly. I can't like live a normal life. Like those aspects of it, I don't think that they completely know going into becoming a celebrity. But for the money, yeah. Like, why else would you go to work or do your job? And
And this is the same kind of thing. It's like he's in this industry. He's a comic book writer, and it's like, oh, it's just about, it's about the art, and it's about getting my message out there, and blah blah blah. It's like,
I can see that, but you also want to make something that's like appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah, you want to make something that's going to sell.
Yeah,
that people are going to look at.
Why
else do it?
Like, I get that you can have a message in there as well, and like you get your point across, but at the same time, you want to pick something that's like people are going to pick up and read. Otherwise, it's going to be like only one or two people picking. It's not going to make any money.
Yeah, I mean, we all want to have our, we all have our hobbies, and we all want to find a job or some where our hobbies make money.
Yes,
that's why I want to get into voice acting.
That's the goal, right? Yeah.
Like,
find something you love that you also can make money at.
Yeah. I love voice acting. I love doing it. And it pays decent. So
why wouldn't you want to? Yeah.
Why not pursue it? But I just hate that kind of mentality from, people that are in the limelight or the spotlight. It's just such a pretentious way of thinking. For example.
Right? I was going to say, speaking of which, Aquaman star Willem Defoe says that superhero movies are too long and too noisy.
And he's been in a couple.
Spider-Man, he's been... Well, would you count the Boondock Saints as kind of a superhero?
I don't know, kind
It's
of.
a cult classic.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in Spider-Man. He was in Aquaman. I mean, come on, dude.
That and it almost comes across sounding like an old grandpa sitting on the porch. You know, is it like, oh, they're too loud and too long and too noisy. It's
also it also comes along or comes across as a little ungrateful.
Right.
Because I think pre-Spider-Man, not a whole lot of people, not the mass market really didn't know who Willem Dafoe was.
No.
I mean, he'd done a lot before that,
right.
But it was Spider-Man that really catapulted him into, to
stardom or whatever you want to the limelight.
Yeah. To become like really famous.
Yeah. Man, all these people kind of like ungrateful for. I would never like want to bash on, and it's difficult to even relate because we're not, celebrities by any means.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for me to be like, why would you want to like burn bridges?
Yeah.
Right? Especially when you're still in the industry, still doing this is. You could potentially be in another Aquaman movie, or you could potentially be, like, you hear all the time these celebrities that they're, like, tippy-toeing around these answers because they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, it was great to work with them, perhaps we'll do another project together. Mm-hmm. Like, you're gonna throw that stuff out there, and yeah, like, everybody knows that you're gonna say that, and you could think something completely different, but don't burn those bridges.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say to Willem, like, okay, calculate how much money you earned from the Spider-Man films or from Aquaman. Give all that back.
Yeah.
Like, if you're serious about that, give it to charity.
Give it to, I know what they could do. He could give it to a charity, but it would be for, like, the hearing impaired.
There you go.
Too loud and noisy and long. And,
yeah. Here's another one. Elizabeth Banks.
We are serious when we're saying, like, there are so many celebrities that are just hopping on the bandwagon.
Elizabeth Banks blames comic book films for Charlie's Angels bombing. Here's the thing.
No.
There was no comic book movie in theaters with Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Except the tail end of the Joker, and that's barely still in theaters.
Right.
And that's made its money. It's not like, that was taking any money away.
No.
Charlie's Angels didn't do good because it's not a good film. It has nothing to do with comic book movies.
And they were also trying to bring up the point that, like, because Kristen Stewart, her character plays like a lesbian. That's like, and they were trying to bring up like all these different like points to try to say why it bombed, and not taking like responsibility or ownership and saying like, oh, it just probably wasn't a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And by the way, Elizabeth Banks has appeared in superhero films.
Yeah.
She was in several Spider-Man films. Along with Willem Dafoe.
Are we supposed to just forget about this stuff? Like...
Well, okay, so here's what she said.
Yeah.
If this movie doesn't make money, it reinforces the stereotype in Hollywood that men don't go to see women do action movies.
False news.
Not true.
Atomic Blonde was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and there's been like so many countless other movies that were great.
It's like Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman? Oh, it was fantastic.
Like, you think men don't want to go see women in these outfits kicking butt?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Yeah. Well, not even just like in those outfits though,
That's a big selling point.
Obviously. Yeah. But as long, like, if we're going down this route, my one kind of like beef is when you see like these women that are like really petite, that are maybe like 100 pounds, that are beating the crap. I mean, I get that you can use like your own body strength, like the person's body strength against them, and like there's different moves and techniques that you can do. But like when she's 100 pounds soaking wet, and she's beating up this dude that's like 250, 300 pounds, it doesn't come across as looking too realistic.
Well, and she continues on. She says, audience members will go and see a comic book movie with Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel because that's a male genre. So even though those are movies about women, they put them in the context of feeding the larger comic book world. So it's all about, yes, you're watching a Wonder Woman movie, but we're setting up 3 other characters or setting up Justice League. She says, by the way, I'm happy for those characters to have box office success, but we need more women's voices supported with money because that's the power. The power's in the money. It wasn't all men, first of all, seeing those films.
Right.
Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel. If you see, like, the premieres of, especially Captain Marvel, it's nothing but women.
Yeah.
In the audience, and they're all dressed as Captain Marvel. I mean,
there were so many people at Comic-Con, or, Fan X, that were dressed up as these characters.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, go to these conventions. They're dominated with women dressed up as Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, Rey from Star Wars, Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Catwoman.
Yeah, and it's not the ones from the comic books. These are the characters from the films, the outfits from the films. Right. And so you can tell that women are going to see these movies. Like, I'm sorry, Elizabeth Banks, but your movie sucked.
Yeah.
That's why people didn't go see it.
Right.
Simple as that. It has nothing to do with comic book films. Plus, I mean, not a lot of people are a fan of Kristen Stewart. Sorry.
She's an acquired taste.
She is. I mean, she's not... Twilight aside, she's not a bad actress.
A little bit of a one-trick pony. Or like she's been made, perhaps she's just been typecast in those certain roles.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's either like, because that one movie that she did, like Personal Shopper, she was kind of like more depressed, somber, like it, and it was more of an indie film.
Yeah.
But some of these other ones that she does, she's just kind of...
Yeah, she's a little unemotional a lot of times and very, I could see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that you put her as your lead and it's going to sour a lot of people on seeing it.
Right.
I mean, it just is.
Yeah. That's why, like, I still believe, even though he's done a lot of other movies, we're going to run into that same problem with, her co-star in the Twilight movies having issues as Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Right?
Yeah.
You're already going to, like, sour a lot of fans and not going to want to go see it because they just picture him as Edward.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, they're going to run into the same, like, hardship, like, perhaps, I don't know. If it's done well, it'll...
And then what's the excuse going to be then?
Right.
If Batman doesn't do well.
Right.
Like, you can't blame comic book movies for a comic book movie failing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, let's see. This mom... I'm calling the story like Thrones on a plane, but there was this mother that on a plane that she demanded the person that was next to them...
Plane of Thrones.
Right?
Yeah.
She demanded to turn off Game of Thrones because her son could see this, the screen. Like, I bring this up because that is, like, I have been on a plane at a couple of, like, these longer international flights, or just even when I was, like, headed over to, California.
Yeah.
Or no, excuse me, Toronto. It was, like, they had a lot of, like, rated R movies. They had a lot, like, they had, like, films on there that I'm like, really? Like, you'd be showing this, like, on a plane? Like, but...
Yeah.
I think that the ownership has to fall back to these airlines, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want people watching certain things, or they'll have like issues with people, because you have like all mix of people on these planes, kids, children, mothers, women, men, like, and I get that you got to appeal to everybody and give them like a variety to choose from, but I don't know. Where do you think the fault lies? Or is there a fault? Or should the kid just kind of like look away and mind his own business? Or what do you think?
Well, I was trying to find out how old this kid was, first of all.
Yeah.
Because...
Doesn't say, but like...
It doesn't say. But I mean, There's, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't watch a lot of Game of Thrones, but the first few seasons, there was a lot of nudity.
Right. And
But the later seasons, I heard that there really wasn't. Right?
Once or like maybe about 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Like the first couple of seasons, it was kind of a draw to kind of get people in watching the show, I think.
Yeah.
And then they actually didn't really need it. And the only times, like Cersei, when she was being shamed and walked through the streets, and Dany, when she was like burned down this like whole building, like caught everybody on fire and walked out of the flames, naked. But for the most part, it wasn't nearly as much. But also, like, I mean, there's a lot of like blood and gore.
A lot of
throughout the whole series,
violence. But I mean, that's why I wanted to find out how old this kid was, because if this kid was 12, 13, whatever, newsflash, he's seen those scenes.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
On Facebook, social media, or
he's looked up those Game of Thrones scenes.
Yeah.
Now, if he's a younger kid, it's up to the person watching to let's use discretion. I mean, if you know, like, if I were on a plane, and I wouldn't watch Game of Thrones or something like that. I'd watch something I knew that if somebody was looking over my shoulder.
Well, even like people around you, like I would feel like personally, I would feel kind of uncomfortable watching like a sex scene on a movie, that I know. I mean, if you don't know, but then like you can still turn it off or change it to like, hey, what's the distance? How many miles do I have till my plane lands? Right. Like, and you can switch the movies pretty quickly. It's like really fast. Like, there's a couple of movies I watched like a part of it, and I'm like, this isn't really for me. So you just press back, and it goes back to the home screen, and you can pick something else. And you can already tell like that it's headed that direction. Yeah. Like, they're not just gonna like, blam, sex, blam, like somebody's dead, They're gonna give you a little time. So I do think there is a personal accountability.
There is.
But at the same time, it seems interesting that the airlines are putting these on there. If they want to be kind of like this family-friendly airlines or cater to everybody, it seems weird that they have like these kind of things on there.
Well, was he watching it? Like, was it like from the airplane movie catalog?
Yeah, you can pick and choose from these.
Oh, so Game of Thrones is on there?
Correct. Well, there's a lot of like rated R movies as well that like on my last flight that I noticed.
Huh. Well, all right. Well, I guess if that's the case, I mean, if you're sitting next to a child, even though Game of Thrones is an option, you might want to think, maybe not. Yeah, it's only like if you're sitting next to hours. Yeah, if you're sitting next to adults, maybe that would be a different story. But next to a child,
right next to a child, yeah. Like, but even like I don't know. I'm thinking like they can kind of peek through your seat, or look back a couple aisles up and kind of see that stuff. True. So I would probably just like shy away from those things. But
I mean, watch a Marvel film or something. Yeah. Watch
Wonder Woman.
But I mean, Game of Thrones. I've probably been more of the guy who was watching it than this mom making a complaint.
Okay.
Personally, that's what I think. I think that guy's more at fault. But, all right, I gotta look up this story on my phone because for some reason my laptop doesn't want it to pull up. So we talked about just a couple weeks ago about how basically DC kind of stepping away from Superman on the big screen.
Yeah.
Well, not if Henry Cavill has anything to say about it. Because he recently made a comment. He said, I'm not just going to sit quietly in the dark as all this stuff is going on. I'm not giving up the role. I've not given up the role, Cavill told the magazine. There's a lot I have to give for Superman yet. a lot of storytelling to do, a lot of real, true depths to the honesty of the character I want to get into. I want to reflect the comic books. That's important to me. There's a lot of justice to be done for Superman. The status is, you'll see.
You'll see. Well, he does have a little bit of like persuasion and sway with the character. And also, like, you know, if he wants to make it and he's adamant about making it, like, there's probably a studio out there going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he said, the cape is in the closet. Caville says emphatically, echoing a comment his agent made in September 2018 when Caville's exit was reported. Quote, he said, it's still mine. And so he wants to bring Superman back. He wants Superman to be back on the big screen.
Because he wants to explore the character, and he's got like a lot of... Well, and there are a lot of things about the character that you really don't see like portrayed on the big screen. His brain, you know, and his intellect, for one. Yeah. He's just kind of more... He's been portrayed more as just kind of a... smash, you know, save Lois Lane. He's been like not as interesting as he could be. Yeah.
No, it's definitely true. And like we were talking about, was it last week, a couple weeks ago? I don't know.
All blend together.
Yeah, all these start to run together. With Joel's call, Man of Steel, for me, was really, I really liked it. I know it's very divisive among people, but for me, it's one of the better Superman films out there. Right. Next to the original Superman from 78. Yeah, with Christopher Reeve. I think it stands toe-to-toe with that one, and a lot of people would disagree with me, but that's fine. But I really like it. I think it's, I think he does justice to the character with what he's given.
Right. And perhaps with another film, he would have more say.
Yeah. Like, I would like to see a Superman trilogy with him in it. I think it'd be good. And I think they were just barely starting to scratch the surface with Man of Steel.
But then, like, they had to set up Justice League and so, you know, Batman v Superman. So it kind of went away from his character. I feel like that's going to be where you're going to have the biggest issue. It's a lot easier to just revamp, recast, and start anew than it would be to kind of like jumble, you know, pull apart something else out of it. Yeah, with him. Unfortunately, you know.
Yeah, but I'm glad that he still wants to play the character, and
he's not kind of like turned off by it, or turning away from it.
Yeah. So maybe with that push with him, with his endorsement, maybe we'll get more down the future.
I still think that they just need to like put the cape in the closet and leave it there for a while. The same can be said like for me personally about Batman as well. Yeah, like let's explore other characters and let's do some other stuff. Like,
I agree. I agree.
Give it some time. Like we don't need one like every couple 2-3 years. Yeah. As much as I love the character, like I don't mind like just seeing these animated films that they do and leave the live action alone.
I also think that I think the same can be said with Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I think once Tom Holland is done, you know, this next Spider-Man film, that maybe it's time to hang up the webs for a while.
Yeah, agreed. And try your it's difficult for them because they know that they're gonna make money. Yes. You know, just a ton of money doing these movies, but give it a little time. Yeah. Yep. So I had to bring up this story because it took place here in Utah. Disney on Ice. So there was this mother that she went to Disney on Ice with her daughter, and she dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, and like, it's not a very accurate Buzz Lightyear, but she kind of had on the costume.
Right, it's kind of that skin-tight costume that has, like, the pattern on it.
Right.
Right, yeah.
So she dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, and so did her little daughter, who's wearing kind of a Buzz Lightyear dress. And she went there, and the security said, like, I'm sorry, but, like, we don't allow anybody over the age of 14 to dress up.
Yeah.
And it kind of sparked a lot of, like, people, like, getting upset about this stuff. And I kind of had, like, 2 points, and then I also wanted to really get your perspective on this.
Mm-hmm.
The main 2 reasons why, like, I don't fault her very much because, like, she said in the article that they didn't, like, let her know, hey, not to do this, and you actually had to do your research a little bit, you know, and dig into this, because the same rule applies at Disneyland in the parks.
Yes, it does.
Right? Because Disneyland is known for being a interactive, like, experience.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have these other people dressing up as these iconic characters, and you have all these, like, you know, if you have like 100 Cinderellas running around the place, you run the risk of having people saying and doing whatever the heck they want, which is totally out of character.
Yeah.
Which these cast members, they're required to, like, stay in character no matter what, and they're given, like, specific guidelines, and if they deviate at all, like, they're let go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you had, like, all these people dressing up as these characters, like, they could say and do whatever they want, you know, and if someone's like, oh, can I get my picture taken with you? You know, for the most part, you can kind of, like, tell them apart, but there are some people that, like, go to great lengths to look exactly like these characters.
Yeah.
Right? So it kind of takes you a little bit out of the experience and, like, out of that. And then the other reason is if you had a more elaborate costume, it would make it more difficult for security to kind of, like, detect any type of concealed weapon or anything. Not that, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, worst case scenario. I would hope that nothing would happen like this, but, like, you know, even they have to check all the weapons at Comic-Con to make sure that they're, like, nobody's going to be harmed.
Right.
Just for safety and security reasons. So if you did, I mean, then there's quite a few Disney characters that carry weapons with them, you know. Mulan, for instance. But yeah, that was kind of like my main 2 points. But I do see this woman, like, that's why I brought up that she wasn't dressed up exactly like Buzz Lightyear, because you can tell, oh, that's not Buzz Lightyear, you know, like, automatically. So you're not going to be, like, fooled. Or,
yeah.
But she like, caused this big, like, stink about it, and they even, like, had her wear, like, they gave her a Disney on Ice shirt to wear over the top of it, so that she could go in. So they kind of, like, tried to accommodate, but I don't know. What are your kind of thoughts on this thing?
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the rule that has been in place for some time.
Right.
And you would think that when you go there, you go to wherever it's being held, you get out, it was probably
Vivint Smart. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
The Delta Center, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So you get out, you start walking there, you see that you are the only adult that is dressed up.
Right.
To me, that would send off a red flag in my brain.
Right.
Thinking this could be a problem. If there are literally thousands of other adults here and I'm the only one dressed up, maybe they know something I don't.
That, and, like, I don't know. I get that she wanted to do this for her daughter to, like, so that she, you know, they could go together as kind of a group couple costume.
And I totally get that too. But there are shirts out there that you can buy, like, just regular T-shirts that have, like, the pattern of Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
So if you're gonna do that, wear one of those. You know?
Right.
And like you're saying, it's the same thing in Disneyland. You know, that's why you can't buy any like Star Wars costumes in Galaxy's Edge. You know, it's the same thing.
Right.
And so once she goes up there and security stops her, that should have been the end of it.
Right.
She should have said, "Oh, I apologize. I didn't know. Yeah, I'll wear the shirt. That's fine.
Yeah. Rather than trying to start a petition and doing all these other things and trying to get on the news to bring the... Like, it's a policy that's been around for, like, quite a few years.
Yeah. I mean, it's been around pretty much ever since Disneyland opened.
Yeah.
Back in 1950, whatever it was.
Well, and Disneyland's so strict about that to where they won't even have another Mickey Mouse. If there's one Mickey Mouse out in Disneyland, there can be no other Mickey Mouses in the park.
Right.
At that time.
Right.
If he's supposed to be doing a photo shoot, then the Mickey Mouse that was over in, like, by one of the other rides has to disappear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, they want to keep that whole illusion and that magic alive.
Yes. Yep. And that's that's kind of the other part of it that you want the attention on the performers.
Yeah. Plus, they're also, like, they do charge, because I have been to a couple of Disney on Ice shows. And I didn't go by myself. I took a date, but
just picture you sitting there by yourself,
right?
Yeah,
eating my snow cone. No, but like they have a lot of different, like, photo opportunity places, like where you can pay to get your photo taken with these other Disney princesses or these other Disney characters. You know, before the show starts.
Right.
I mean, because they're in it to make money again as well.
Yeah.
Just another opportunity to get that. So
yeah, I would say I'm on Disney's side when it comes to that, but so the future of Star Trek, these new Star Trek films have kind of been in question as of late. We were pretty sure that after this last one, after number 3, that they're pretty much done. Well, turns out maybe not. Star Trek 4 is back on with Chris Pine, and Legion creator Noah Hawley will direct. So yeah,
J.J. Abrams doesn't have a say in this one?
Well, I'm sure maybe he's kind of
an executive
producer or something like that, but by all accounts, I thought Star Trek, at least in those movies, were done.
Right.
Because I had heard that Chris Pine had stepped away from it, that the actor who plays Spock, what the heck is his name? Gosh dang it.
That he'd kind of stepped away.
Yeah, that he kind of stepped away, that they were doing other projects, that, it was, you had 1, 2, and 3 done.
Right. And that's kind of been the formula for a lot, like, except for with animated movies, that's for the most part been the formula, right? You get 3 movies and tell a story in that amount of time, or don't tell it at all.
Yeah. But so it was surprising to read that they're doing another one.
I really hope that this kind of helps to not revamp the franchise, but make up for number 3. Because that was by far the weakest.
Yeah.
The first one, like, I'm not a huge Trekkie fan, but, like, I loved the first 2.
Uh-huh.
And then the third one, it was a little convoluted, all over the place. Yeah. They tried to tell too much. Mm-hmm. And so I really hope that with this fourth one, that they kind of, like, get back to their roots.
Yes.
Make a solid film, and then call it quits.
Yeah. I don't know, this might be crazy, but if it's a Star Trek film, let's keep it in space. How about that?
That's kind of a novel concept, dude.
I know. So don't worry about going down on some alien planet or something. Let's just keep it in space. Why not?
Going down on a planet. Oh, man. Adam, you probably won't even know who this kid is, but Adam Lamberg is returning as Gordo for the new Lizzie Mcguire Disney Plus series. We were talking about this before the episode, that the majority of the cast is coming back, right?
Yes.
You've got the mom and dad and the brother. Mm-hmm. Who was it that wasn't the actress that plays
Miranda? Yeah, she's not coming back. She's had some issues.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, she's had some drug issues, and so I'm not surprised that they haven't called
reached out to her and said, like, hey, by the way.
the insurance company might have been like, yeah, no, we're not going to.
Well, but then they could have like like some of these older television shows. They could have an episode about like drugs and getting help.
Hey, Miranda's in rehab.
Yeah, that could be the name of an episode on this television show.
Miranda in rehab. And Lizzie and Gordo have to go visit her and stage an intervention.
They're like, hey, we want to come over and have dinner with us? Okay, actually, this is an intervention.
Yeah. Like, hey, it's a grown-up Lizzie McGuire dealing with grown-up stuff.
Do you feel like she's
best friend is a drug addict?
Do you think that she's gonna have her little cartoon by her side?
I would think so, but I don't think it's gonna be 13-year-old. I think it'll be adult.
Really?
Cartoon. I would bet that's what they will do because
no,
because that was a big part of the original series,
right? Because she was kind of her conscience, you know, saying what she couldn't always say out loud. Or
so I'm betting they'll have it, but I bet it won't be the little kid.
I'm thinking it's the 13-year-old, like the little 13-year-old kid, that more so talks to, Lizzie McGuire's her daughter, right? But, or not even have it at all. And just kind of run with it. Do more grown-up kind of episodes.
Or maybe, is it said that she will have kids?
No.
Oh. Well, maybe she does, then maybe it will be the kid's little cartoon conscience.
Yeah.
Not so much Lizzie's, but,
Perhaps
a lot of people are excited for this. I don't know why. I watched Lizzie McGuire back in the day.
Oh, I had a huge crush on Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still attractive, by the way, even now.
Right?
She's still attractive. But, yeah, that's why I watched it, too, because I thought she was cute, but it wasn't a particularly great show, honestly. If you go back and watch it, it's...
Didn't really hold up.
Like a lot of those shows back in the day.
Even Stevens? That's another one. No.
Yeah.
Pass.
I watched that because I had a crush on his sister. Yeah. That's my driving force for watching a lot of shows back in the day. Was there a cute girl on it? Great, I'll watch it.
Yeah? Yeah.
So I watched a lot of the Olsen shows back in the day.
Really?
The Olsen twins, yeah.
Huh. Never really... Okay, I never really got into them.
It was before...
They got scary. They got scary now. Have you seen recent pictures of them?
It was before they turned into goblins, but...
Well, I think that one of them, like... They seriously... I saw a meme on this where it was just like... I'm pretty sure that one of them can either tell the future and one can tell the past. Like, or something's going on there. Like, they're... Whew.
Yeah.
They're not quite so easy on the eyes.
Not anymore. I thought they were back in the day, so I saw a few of their made-for-TV films.
No, I'd never watched them except for on Full House.
Yeah. So apparently, surprise, surprise, Joker 2 looks like it's probably going to happen. I guess it's not too big a surprise. This movie did make $1 billion, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was really surprised by this. I thought for sure Joaquin Phoenix didn't want to do, a franchise type of a thing. That's why he turned down...
Do you think it maybe had something to do with the money?
Oh, well, he was asked to play several characters in the MCU over the years.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was approached for Doctor Strange at one point. At that point, the MCU was a giant money-making machine.
Yeah.
And so...
Like our rap battle.
Yeah. And so, for him to turn down that, it would seem like he wasn't interested in the money, but I don't know.
Maybe he's had a change of heart.
Maybe, yeah.
Times are tough,
Times for tough, if you're Joaquin.
No, I don't actually think they are, because that dude...
No,
he does
fine.
well.
He's fine.
What? He's good looking. No, no, not even that. No, he's got an interesting face.
That's a good way
A
to put it.
face only a mother could love. I don't know. But if they do make a second one, they can't really do the whole. Well, or could they still play up the whole what's reality, what's real, what's not in his head? Or do they just go, now he is the Joker, he's an established character, he can do whatever he wants. He runs this place, but then he's also struggling internally because he's got like a lot of like issues. Or what do you do for a sequel?
I think you have it set a few years into the future, maybe 10 or so years. Joker has been in and out of prison, out of Arkham Asylum, and he's gained momentum. He's started to become a force in Gotham, and at the same time, in his quiet moments, he still occasionally maybe questions what he's doing. Maybe, like
perhaps
you're saying,
even like gets like even after his mother he's already buried his mother in the ground, but she keeps coming back.
Oh, that'd be cool,
right?
Yeah.
She just keeps like she's kind of that voice in his head that's like nagging at him like constantly.
Or maybe he's struggling that all this attention isn't what turns out is not what he wanted.
Yeah.
Because now he has no anonymity. Now he's, this larger than life character. It's like we were talking about with the celebrities not realizing what fame actually does or is.
And he needs this. This would be perfect because, like you said, 10 years in the future, he needs a reason for living. And with that child grown up now, becoming Batman, that's his reason for living.
There you go.
Right?
He's looking for something to continue on. And all of a sudden he hears rumors that there's this guy dressing up as a giant bat and taking on the criminal underground. And
yeah.
So all of a sudden he's focused his attention on that. And
he like honestly like makes like this huge mural and just like has every article clippings up on this wall. Like he becomes obsessed about this bat.
See, that would be an interesting angle because we always seen Batman films where Batman is obsessed with finding the Joker and figure out who he is. It'd be a cool kind of switch to all of a sudden see the Joker
trying to figure out who is the bat.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's sitting in front of this, wall of monitors watching Batman, and he has, like you're saying, all these newspaper clippings and everything everywhere. That'd be interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even really have to have Batman in it, but for just a little bit, right? And still just focus on him.
Yeah. Or like he's trying to get Batman's attention.
Right.
Because Batman so far is ignoring him,
yeah.
So he has to up his game, so to speak, so he can get Batman's full attention.
Yeah, his undivided attention.
Mm-hmm.
We need to write these movies, dude. Like, what the hell? Speaking of movies that are coming back, National Treasure 3, and this is from the actual, because I was reading the article, this is from the same source that said that Aladdin is getting a sequel as well as Joker is getting a sequel.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty reliable source. But National Treasure 3 is reportedly in the works and Nicolas Cage would be returning. It has been nearly a decade since the last National Treasure movie, which it's really funny because I was talking to, somebody yesterday and I was saying I didn't really like Nicolas Cage in Next or any of these other movies that he's done. But I did really like him in National Treasure and Gone in 60 Seconds. He to me is like the actor equivalent of M. Night Shyamalan. Right? Where you're I liked him, I liked The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
But from the director of The Sixth Sense. But Nicolas Cage, I looked it up one time. In the last 10 years, he's done about 20 something movies.
I'm looking it up right now.
The dude will do anything because yeah. He was struggling for some money.
Yeah, he has 103 acting credits. Now, most actors, when you look at it, maybe they're in the 30s, 40s.
And that's a pretty, like, good career.
Yeah.
If you have 30 films.
I'm curious. Let's see, like, Tom Hanks, for example.
I would say Tom Hanks maybe 40.
Let's see where he is.
42?
Let's see. Tom Hanks.
Just to kind of give you kind of a comparison, you know?
Yeah. All filmography. 59.
Oh, wow.
He's done. So and that's even somebody who works a lot.
Right.
Tom Hanks works a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So Nick Cage is just like, it's like every 6 months he's making some weird film.
He's like, please, please, please.
Yeah.
I'll do, unmentionable things for a movie. He's over there on the corner. Hey, psst, psst, are you a director? Are you a director? Yes. Why?
Hey,
yes, I am.
I'm Nick Cage. You want me in your film?
Yeah. $20. And wait, you'll pay me $20?
Or I pay you $20.
He's like, either works. He did recently have like a movie in Sundance. I can't even think of the name of it, but I did watch it, and it was brutal. It wasn't that bloody one where he was like completely covered from head to toe in blood.
Yeah.
It was the film before where I think it's on Netflix, where him and his wife kind of go crazy and all the parents are killing the children.
Yes.
They're stuck in the house.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
That, wow.
Seen something about
that was an awful movie, dude. Like, that was, it was rough to watch.
Yeah, he does. So many of his films just head straight to, like, Redbox.
Yeah.
Much like Bruce Willis nowadays. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's see.
Well, okay, and you say Tom Hanks, but Tom Hanks is like an A-list celebrity, right?
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, is like D tier?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still known. His name's recognizable.
Yeah, he's big on the internet. The internet loves Nick Cage.
Oh, yeah. For me.
But Hollywood, not so much.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he's got this film coming out called Pig.
Never even heard of it.
Mm-hmm. The Croods 2.
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Never
Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Nope.
1000. What? Wally's Wonderland. Grand Isle. Primal. Kill Chain. Running with the Devil. Color Out of Space.
These are just upcoming films?
No, those, okay. So, Pig, The Croods 2, Jiu-Jitsu, Prisoners of Ghostland, 1000, and Wally's Wonderland, I think are all 2020.
Yeah.
2019, then you have Grand Isle, Primal, Kill Chain, Running with the Devil, Color Out of Space,
Wait,
A
these
Score
are
to Settle.
These are movies that are still coming out? Like,
No,
there's
those
like
were
a
all
month and a half. Like,
those were all in 2019.
Okay, gotcha.
So he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 films in 2019.
Who has the time for that?
Yeah.
Like, most celebrities, 1 or 2 films a year?
Yeah, if that.
If that.
He did 6 films in 2019.
He's filming 2 movies at the same time.
He's got to be.
Right? There's no other way. Like, wow. That's just crazy to me. Ah, man.
He
gets around.
He does.
Yeah.
He'll be in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with Bruce Willis. I mean, if we looked up Bruce Willis, he's probably pretty close to that too. How many acting credits he's done?
Do you think... I'm trying to think who the celebrity... Okay, right? It's one of those things where you're just like, now I really need to know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a celebrity that's been in more movies than Nicolas Cage. The Rock?
Not even The Rock.
Which is saying something, because he's been in a lot lately.
Kevin Hart has been in a lot of films.
Not nearly as many as The Rock, though.
I mean, the past 3 or 4 years, Kevin Hart's been in a bunch of films.
True.
I mean, even The Rock, I mean, he only has like maybe one movie a year. Holy crap! Bruce Willis, his acting credits is 125.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
125.
Dang.
See how many he did in 2019. He did Glass, Lego Movie 2, The Orville. He was in The Orville?
Huh.
Motherless Brooklyn, Between Two Ferns, the movie. 10 Minutes Gone, Run of the Hitman, McLean, Trauma Center. Those were all in 2019.
The only movie that I saw of his that I think was this year, or perhaps it was last, was that one where he plays a doctor that gets revenge. But,
Yeah. He only did 4 movies in 2018.
Oh, that's okay.
So, you know.
Not nearly as many as 6. That's okay, dude. That is one every 2 months.
Yeah, you're right.
One movie every 2 months. How do you even prepare for a role like that?
I think if you're Bruce Willis, you don't need to prepare. You just go on and you're just Bruce Willis.
No, I was thinking Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
He's
Nick
the one
Cage.
that did 6, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. If you hire Nick Cage for a film, you just get Nick Cage.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Which is $20 and, you know.
And a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
$20 in craft services.
He's just like, buy me lunch, I'll be in your movie.
Yeah.
Times are tough.
So we've been talking about all these streaming services. We've been talking about Disney Plus quite a bit. And well, it turns out AMC, the theater chain, is now jumping on the bandwagon when it comes to streaming services. They're going to have their own called AMC Theaters on Demand. But here's the difference.
Okay.
You can rent or buy movies, watch anytime on your favorite devices. So,
it seems to be more like a Voodoo kind of a thing.
Like it's going to be almost like an online rental store.
Yeah. Is it going to be movies that are still in theater?
Well, that's the thing.
Perhaps?
I don't know.
Right?
Let's see.
That's the direction we're headed. We've talked about it plenty of times before. That's the way that it's going.
Oh, here you go. Okay. According to a New York Times report, which comes via Gizmodo, the 5 largest studios, including Disney, Paramount, Universal, Sony, and Warner Brothers, have all made deals with AMC to allow both films from their catalogs, as well as their newly released films, to be rented or purchased from the theater chain's service.
Okay, newly released. Like, that means newly released to DVD, is what I'm thinking. Right? As soon as
you're
it
probably
comes
right.
Available, like, similar to what Redbox does. But you won't actually have to go out in the cold to get a movie.
So according to AMC CEO Adam Aron, the service offers, as of its launch, about 2,000 films. Netflix movies will, of course, not be available on the service, as the theater chain and Goliath streaming service have yet to strike a deal allowing the former to screen the latter's content in its theaters. The prices for AMC movies, when compared to subscription services like Netflix, may seem a bit steep, however. According to Variety, movies will cost between $3 and $5.99 to rent.
Yeah, I'll still go to Redbox, where it's like $1 and
Yeah.
$2.
And somewhere between $9.99 and $19.99 to buy. So
The only problem and my one concern is, and like I'm even like kind of a little tentative about buying movies on Vudu,
yeah,
is just because I don't know if they're going to be around that long. You know,
Right.
There was the Ultraviolet that was like doing really well, and they had like a ton of movies that you could put onto, you know, the cloud and watch whenever you wanted, like the digital copy of it. And then they just sent me an email, like the last email that I got from them, that said like hello and goodbye. Like that's like verbatim.
Really?
That was the heading.
Wow.
And then they just said like, yeah, this is the end. I'll pull it up right here. Let's see. Oh, thank you and goodbye. That was sent right there. Voodoo.
Oh, yep. Wow.
right? They're like, hey, we appreciate your service. Like, we're going to be leaving. For the most part, you can get all of your movies will be transferred over to Vudu, but we're out of here, you know? And so you buy these huge collections and you think that the service is going to be around and for years and years, and then it just disappears, and then you don't have these digital copies anymore. That's my one, putting money towards like something that doesn't. That's why I still prefer to buy like hard copies when it comes to video games and movies.
Yeah.
Because if I want to go back and watch them, then I don't have to do anything else. But I mean, it's more convenient if it's online, but I don't mind throwing in a DVD or a Blu-ray. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if that if this takes off or not.
Do you think it'll rival? Because like you can do that on Vudu as well, but do you think it'll rival Vudu as well as Redbox? Because Redbox, like they offer it at a much discounted, like a way more discounted price.
I think Redbox is safe for the moment.
Yeah.
I think they've been established so much now that they've just kind of become part of people's lives at this point. So I don't think Redbox has much to worry about.
Well, we said the same thing about Netflix.
Well, true, but I still don't think Netflix has much to worry about either.
Right, they've got enough assets that they're set for a while.
Yeah,
but like some of these Goliaths have just been around for a while. Like everybody else can do it and offer it at a better price sometimes.
The only thing I could see that AMC, and maybe they'll head this way, if they could offer movies that are still in theaters.
Yes.
Like actual new movies that you could buy, even if you need to buy them for like $20.
Right.
People will do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if they could just download it and watch a new film on their computer, and I'm betting it'll go that way eventually.
Right.
I think this is just the first step.
It'll be offered for about like a day or like maybe one viewing of it or two, a couple of viewings.
Yeah.
And then it disappears off of your laptop or whatever device or television. Yeah. But yeah, I could see them going that direction pretty easily.
Yeah. And then if people are worried about, well, you can make copies or whatever. With Disney Plus, I tried to take a screen capture of what I was watching on Disney Plus, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It just appears blank. You can't do it.
Yeah.
I also tried to do a screen recording of it.
Okay.
It doesn't work. The recording fails every single time.
Really?
Yeah.
And like it fails and it shows like similar to what you see in the first Jurassic Park movie where it's like and it just has like Mickey Mouse. It's like
You didn't say the magic word.
And he flips you off. You're like, what the heck?
Phone starts to smoke.
Blows up.
But yeah, it's interesting that they completely cut that part off. You can't do it.
Right. So I guess you could record it and then just hold your phone the entire time.
I guess you could do that if you really wanted to.
Right.
But yeah, if AMC could do something like that with new movies, to where you only, and that's a good idea you could only view it once or twice.
Right.
Like maybe
you have a 24-hour window.
Yeah, or maybe depending on how much you paid, depends on how many times you can watch it.
Right.
Like you could have it on your computer as long as you want, but you can only view it a certain time before it disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I think it was like DirecTV did it back in the day. Like my parents would sometimes like look through and like order a movie for us to watch, and it only gave us like one viewing, or and you could pause it, which was nice, but you only had like one viewing of it, or it was on your like TV that you could watch like within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So something similar to that.
So if you wanted to pay like $30 a month, you had access to the other movies, but
you'd also get one movie that's still in theaters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You have the option of downloading a new film. or
So you
Something
have
like
to
that.
pay like for the monthly subscription, so they've got you on the hook for that. But then like your once a month pass like pops up that you can like, hey, you can get something that's still in theaters.
Mhm.
So it's not like every movie that's available like that, but
Yeah. Or if you don't use it, maybe you could have it roll over to another month.
yeah. So then you have two movies.
So you have two. Yeah.
I like this idea. Man,
I know.
great ideas left and right,
I could see that AMC, maybe that's kind of their plan
and
in
like
the future.
yeah, they've got to have like a plan for that. Like that's the way it's headed.
Yeah. I would imagine.
One last story that I'd like to get to.
Yes.
Lucasfilms is developing, with the success of Mandalorian, Lucasfilms are directing a Darth Maul TV series for Disney Plus. And I was going down, and if you get a chance to, you'll have to check out this. And I'll probably post it like on, on Facebook. But they've got all these different concept pictures because, spoiler alert, Darth Maul didn't die, right? He was chopped in half, but he did not die, and he is half cyborg, half human. And there's some trippy looking like pictures and different he's got like different attachments. It appears to be.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Like one's like looks like similar to a spider, and another. I mean, the possibilities are endless when you only have half your body, and you're fueled by hatred.
Yeah, I mean, that is, I guess, technically it's part of the canon that Darth Maul did survive.
Right.
And for a while, how he survived is he did fashion himself like these giant spider legs.
Right.
And he was living on basically hatred.
That's what
fueled him. That's what kept him alive,
mm-hmm.
which is crazy.
Because that only makes that dude like that more scary and menacing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these other people, they're like, it's just the will to survive. They have like stuff to live for, and he's just like, I hate these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate everything. Like, hate's keeping me alive.
Yeah. And so, if they're developing the Obi-Wan series and they're developing this Darth Maul series,
think they'll have some crossover.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right? Is there such a thing as, like, similar to, like, the Defenders, where these guys just go, like, some sort of, or, like, Endgame-esque, where they just, like, finally eventually meet up and then just have it out?
I mean, there's not, like, a big team or anything, but going back to Star Wars Rebels, Obi-Wan and Darth Maul did meet again when Obi-Wan was on Tatooine, and that fight didn't last long.
Yeah.
It was just a couple seconds, and Obi-Wan took him out.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So they could have that only live action?
Yeah.
That would be pretty legit.
And I hope they get Ray Park to play Darth Maul.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
He is Darth Maul.
He is Darth Maul.
Yeah.
What else is he doing?
Right? Martial arts.
Martial arts. That's yeah.
He's not doing like 6 movies a year.
No, he is not.
But he is like the nicest, coolest dude that we like. One of the coolest dudes that we've met.
Yeah. He was a really cool guy. Okay, let's get to some reviews here, or at least one review. I saw Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
And I have to say that title slow because it's hard to say fast.
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari.
That's a tongue twister.
Now, this is based on a real life story. So, back in the day, I don't know if they still do this, but there was this big race that would happen yearly. It was a 24-hour race. It was called something anyway. And the automobile companies would get, put together like their best cars and go and they'd race.
Yeah.
Well, up to this point, and this took place in 1966, Ferrari had won the last 5 out of 6 years. And so Henry Ford the second, I think it's who it is, decides that he wants to build a car that will rival Ferrari and potentially beat them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you don't go in there just like wanting to be second place,
Yeah.
you know?
so he hires Matt Damon's character, who his name's Carroll Shelby. If you know anything about cars, you know the name Carroll Shelby.
You know Shelby's, yeah, for sure.
Very famous car designer and a car racer back in the day. And he hired him because he actually competed in that race. I can't remember if he won it, but he did compete in it. He's one of the only Americans who did. And so they start putting this plan together, and Matt Damon's character, Carroll Shelby, ends up hiring this guy by the name of Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale. Ken Miles he hired because he's one of the best race car drivers that he knew. He's one of those guys that
Would do anything and can drive anything.
Yeah, can drive anything. And is very intuitive when it comes to cars. He can feel when something's off, or he could hear when something's off that other people wouldn't catch. You know, he's one of those type of guys. And so that's the premise. They have this certain limited window to build a car that's going to beat Ferrari.
Because they want to compete in this year. They're not going to like push it out to the next year.
Right. They want to compete this year. And so I think they said they had like 90 days. I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the premise. And I'm not a big car guy.
Yeah.
I'll say that right now. I can admire cars. I can appreciate cars. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just ingrained in me as a man.
Yeah.
But no, I've never been a big car guy.
Oil runs through our veins, Troy.
But this movie is basically, I mean, it's like car porn. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
And I've found something out about myself that it turns out I really like racing films.
Okay.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Like there are several times during some of these races where I was on the edge of my seat and I was kind of leaning forward.
Yeah.
You know.
Who's going to win? Are they yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Okay.
Apparently it's fairly factual as well from what I've gathered.
Yeah.
You know,
and this is one of those films that you actually gone back and done your research.
I did.
And like, you know, you're on your phone right after the movie.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, the credits are rolling. I'm sitting there on my phone looking up,
fact checking this.
Ken Miles and who is this guy and who's this guy and yeah. But yeah, I mean, Matt Damon, Christian Bale just give incredible performances, especially Christian Bale. Yeah, who else is in? Oh yeah, John Bernthal is in that.
The Punisher.
Josh Lucas, he plays the smarmy Ford executive that you just want to punch.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see kind of the behind the scenes of what goes into preparing for these races. That's what was interesting to me.
Yeah.
And putting this car together that, you know, like they build one car, right, and then go out and test it and be like,
this
okay,
worked, this didn't work.
this worked, this didn't. So they basically had to strip it down, start again.
Well, back in the day, they don't have the same technology that we do now, where we can put it in like a wind tunnel and actually streamline, you know, the angles and get it like perfectly. Like this is just trial and error, right? Do you think that it also kind of stopped the rest of the assembly line at Ford?
No.
So this is kind of like just a more
it was kind of
project.
Yeah, it was a separate project.
Okay. Because I mean, Ford, you know, they're known for just pumping out stuff, and the assembly line, right? Yeah,
there was kind of an interesting scene. I wondered if it did happen or not, where Henry Ford II came down to the assembly line, stopped the whole thing, called everybody around, and he said, if I want all of you right now to go home. I don't want you to go in your cars. I want you to walk home.
Yeah.
Because that's what my grandfather did when he came up with the idea for the automobile. He was walking home from his job. I want you to walk home, and then tomorrow I want you to come back with an idea. Those of you who don't have an idea, don't bother coming back.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder if that actually happened.
Huh.
Apparently Henry Ford was...
Pretty eccentric?
Yeah, he was not a good guy.
Was it the
original?
The original.
Yeah.
The OG Ford.
Yeah, he was kind of a Nazi sympathizer and big time racist. He wasn't a great person, but anyway, so out of 5, race cars, what else are you gonna do with that film?
Right.
I would give it I'm sitting at a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really entertaining, really fun movie. Like a lot of those autobiographical movies, there's a lot of talking, a lot of setting things up, and then the very end, you kind of get the exciting part. This has
exciting parts throughout. Okay.
This has interesting stuff all throughout, where at the same time they're building kind of the story in the background, but it's really good.
Huh. All right.
It's definitely worth a watch.
Speaking of watching, are you watching anything else on Disney Plus?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I am.
We're gonna get to that after.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So let's end the show now, and then stick around for the end credits. We'll kind of talk about what we're checking out, what we're watching on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian, of course, but
anything else? Yeah.
There's other things.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can find all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes and the Google Play Store. On social media, you can find us out at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. You can also call or text the show at any time at 385-240-1692. So, this has been World War G episode 244. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And welcome to the end credits or post credit scene. So really quick before we get to Disney Plus, you said that you were having a conversation with somebody about Recess and that you felt old.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I was watching going back, and that's the main show that I've been watching. Whenever, like, if I'm doing like the dishes or if I'm just like about to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I love Recess. Like, it's my favorite show. I looked everywhere. It's not available on except for pirated copies of it on DVD, or I'd own the box set in a heartbeat.
Right.
So I was so excited to see that it had made it to Disney Plus. And so I was watching it, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I was like, "Oh, hey, have you ever seen that show, like the cartoon? Like, it's kind of similar to this one scene. Have you heard of Recess?" And he's like, "Dude, what's Recess?" And I'm like, "Oh, only the coolest like cartoon like ever." And I was just like, "Oh, let me see." And I pulled it up, and it came out in 1997.
Right.
And he's just like, "That was the year I was born." I'm like, "Oh my hell!" I'm like, "Oh,
yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll go
I
waddle away now with my cane.
right?
Yeah.
My back started to hurt, right then and there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of old cartoons as well on Disney Plus. I've been watching Gargoyles.
Which that holds up.
Still holds up. A lot of people talk about how dark Batman the Animated Series was and everything. I would say Gargoyles is pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Like it's neck and neck with some of their darker themes. At least the first couple seasons.
Well, there's only, 3?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the third season is garbage, but the first two are pretty good. Yeah, I've been watching that. I've been watching Gummy Bears.
Yeah.
I forgot that they really... I will say this about Adventures of Gummy Bears. They really dove deep in the mythology of it. Like, they created...
a whole universe.
Yeah. How there was like ancient gummies back in the day and how they built this whole underground civilization.
It was one of the more well thought out
cartoons
back in the day. You get these other ones that are more like biker mice from Mars.
Yeah.
Some of these other ones, they didn't put much thought into it. They're just like throwing out words and then, they came from space. They're from Mars and they're here on Earth and fighting crime. Or even like, Street Sharks.
Yeah.
Just some of these other ones that are like really random. Like Gummy Bears, they really put some thought into the whole mythos.
They did. So I give credit to them for that. It's just the animation. I mean, granted, I'm only in the first few episodes, so I'm sure it gets better as it goes along.
Yeah.
But it's a little rough. Like a lot of cartoons back then, they kind of rushed the ending of cartoons to hurry and kind of tie everything up. And I forgot that they do like 2 stories per episode. Like there's 2 different things per episode. I forgot that they did that.
I'd forgotten that Recess did the exact same thing. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to, and I don't think I will watch it. But I didn't realize that Lady and the Tramp, I thought it was going to be in theaters.
Oh, yeah.
I was really surprised to see that it was there just chilling on the app.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it on there and I'm like, do I want to watch that?
Right? I can't bring myself, even though it's like the first movie and it keeps suggesting it to me, I can't bring myself to watch that Noelle, yeah. No.
Yeah, no.
It's like...
Don't watch it. It's garbage.
I can't do it. Confession, I still have never seen Frozen. Yeah. I know, and the second one's already out in theaters. Did we already talk about The Mandalorian, the 3rd episode?
We haven't really talked about any episodes that much. I mean, we haven't really gone into detail, I should say.
Right, kind of, because we didn't want to give any spoilers. Are we able to, if you're not on the bandwagon for The Mandalorian, is it hop on it, of course, but...
I think at this point, kind of the big thing there's memes everywhere about it now.
Baby
Yoda. So, I mean... That was kind of the big thing. I was trying to, I didn't want any spoilers, but it's everywhere.
Yeah. So I really felt like, as much as I liked the 3 episodes, the second episode, it wasn't really necessary. I mean, you get the reveal with Baby Yoda being able to use the Force, but other than that,
I think episodes 1 and 2, I would bet that they were shot at the same time.
Right.
And that there was a point where they were going to put that out as one big long, hour long, or however long episode.
Right.
To kick off the series.
And then they're like, no, we should probably make them a little bit shorter. Pace ourselves a little bit. Yeah,
so I think with that one, they broke it up into 2 parts. Because you're right, that second episode, it's all filler. That's all it is.
Yeah. We want an egg. I need to get my parts back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It doesn't really push the story along at all.
No. Yeah. Because when does he make his armor, though? I guess he...
When does he go, like, the full...
Yeah, in the third episode,
Third episode,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but, like... Which, that armor... Dude, like, we were talking about this earlier. I love how he's just piecing together his suit and making it, like, little by little as he goes. Until he's a full-fledged, like, got it all.
And he goes full Mando.
I think he really shot him. Like, in that third episode, it also felt a little bit like, I know you haven't seen it, but it felt like John Wick, where all these other assassins and everybody's just like, there's a bounty on this dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's gone rogue. He's gone, like, completely rogue. We can all take him out and do whatever we want. That, to me, it was a huge, it was really reminiscent of John Wick. Because, like, so... In the third installment of John Wick, they've got a bounty on his head now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the second movie, he has like only a couple hours to run away. He's like, all right, I'll give you an hour, but then the bounty's gonna be out, and yeah, it's assault. I love the concept with Pucks, and he. After, that was such a sad scene where Baby Yoda was given up.
Yeah, that was sad.
That was really rough. I was close to tears. I'm like, man, this is rough. Wait, he can't just do that.
It's like, you're not just gonna walk away, are you?
Yeah. Do you think that thing that was holding all the currency and the money and the plates, do you think that was an ice cream making machine?
Okay. Interesting story on that.
Yeah.
So, there is a scene in Empire Strikes Back where there's this guy when everybody's running out of Cloud City. There's a guy holding that.
Okay.
They gave him a name. His name's Willrow Hood. Go back and look him up. And he has that little machine. Now, back in the 70s, that wasn't an ice cream machine.
Right.
Like, that's actually what it was. It was a homemade ice cream machine. And so, I mean, it's something you could buy in stores. I mean, it was...
You can still buy them today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody ever knew what that was.
Right.
And it's kind of become this cult thing in Star Wars, where the guy even has an action figure that has that little canister.
Uh-huh.
But nobody ever knew what it was. So I like that the Mandalorian explained it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like a safe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That you have to have a code in order to get into it.
Yeah. So that guy was basically, he had all his valuables and he was running out of Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. That makes more sense. Yeah. Other than he just likes ice cream and he's taking his ice cream maker with him.
Well, they're making it still canon.
Yes.
Right? They're keeping true to everything else and not taking away from anything else in this Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the great things about this show is that they're embracing not just the original trilogy, but they're kind of embracing the prequels as well.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure that guy wanted Baby Yoda because I think he was going to extract the midichlorians from him.
Yeah.
I think that was his plan. For whatever reason, we don't know.
Well,
I'm sure we'll find
the other
out,
dude was saying that he was the reason for keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the initial dude that put the bounty out on Baby Yoda just wanted him dead or alive. Didn't really care.
Yeah.
Just because it has the Force, it knows how to use the Force, or it's got something, that we need to take it out. Similar to what this Earth has done with Superman, where they're like, this is an alien being that's got superpowers. Let's kill it. Let's get rid of it. As a last ditch effort, of course. But that dude, he was more let's study it, let's analyze it, let's figure it out, and use this to our advantage to make our technology even better.
Yeah. And the other great thing about this show is that they're just pulling from everywhere. Because like that gun that he has, that really long gun, that was a weapon that Boba Fett, when he first showed up in the Star Wars Holiday Special, that was the gun he had.
Okay.
Was that really long? It had the 2 prongs at the end.
So they're taking all these campy things that like people have like wondered and questioned and thrown into the series. Yeah.
And it's great. I mean,
you can still appreciate it even if you don't know these little interesting facts and tidbits, you know. But like for Star Wars fans, like that know Star Wars, they are loving this show.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, for the diehards to see that they, legitimize that ice cream maker. Yeah. Or, they pulled the gun from the Holiday Special. You're like, that's awesome. Yeah. That like you said, they're taking all these goofy things, but they're making them it's just part of the Star Wars universe. Yeah, it's so good.
Which they have so good. They have a lot of goofy things that they can pull from. So they've got an endless supply.
And I think the Mudhorn that he fought, I think that was one of the creatures in episode 2 in that big end gladiatorial battle that Anakin and Padme had. Yeah. I think one of those creatures was a Mudhorn.
Which that egg was weird looking. It was all furry.
Yeah. What? And apparently Jawas really like eggs.
Right?
Yeah.
They're willing to give up the stuff that they'd scavenge. Which that was... I don't remember seeing Jawas quite so much as I do as in this TV show.
They're
actually pretty relevant.
They are, because we only saw them before on Tatooine,
right?
But now it seems like they're all over the place. Yeah, they're like little rats just everywhere. Yeah.
Well, I'd compare them more to gypsies. Because they're nomads, they just roam and do their own thing, scavenge. Yeah. But they all have they have this culture or something about them.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said before. If you are a Star Wars fan at all, you need to be watching this show.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've looked forward to a TV show. I was waiting for Friday. Come on,
me too.
And it was weird because because I work on Fridays, so I wasn't looking forward to the weekend. I was more so looking forward to the new episode.
Yeah, I work most Fridays too, and so I would watch a little bit on my break, on my first break. Then I was counting down for lunch to come around so I could finish it.
Right.
I was like, oh, hurry. Lunch needs to get here so I can finish this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And I've seen articles where it's the most watched thing on Disney Plus currently.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean it's outpacing all these other shows on streaming services like Stranger Things and all that. Yeah. It's outpacing.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, it's outpacing all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is.
Also, Darkwing Duck. I'm watching that on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Which also holds up, I think, for the most part.
There's some old ones. I was really disappointed that they didn't have Dr. Sign, the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, but they do have the Swiss Family Robinson movie.
Well, there are more things coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a little crazy because, the last time I remember watching that movie, I watched it with my grandma years ago on VHS that she'd recorded it,
right. Yeah, I think every grandma did that because my grandma, she had a bunch of stuff recorded on VHS.
And then they just write on, the outside of it what it actually is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma did that too. The only thing I'd say about this app, though, this Disney Plus app, is I wish it had a place where you can continue watching what you were watching before.
Right.
It doesn't have that on here.
You have to click on it and then hit resume the episode.
Yeah. But if you don't remember what you were watching.
Right.
Yeah.
I do wish it did have that. I don't know. Does it have something to where you can, like, it has your picks, but are you able to create, like, a list?
Well, because you have a watch list right here. But I don't know how I would add that. So let me click on Mandalorian.
Not that it's, like, not the first thing that you see as soon as you open the app, but... Trending. Mandalorian, Avengers, Simpsons, Frozen.
Yeah, I
Lady and the
can't
Tramp,
see. Oh, wait a
Hannah
second. Let
Montana.
me click on this.
Moana, Toy Story 3, Avatar. Meh. I do want to watch probably the next thing that I'm going to be watching is the Clone Wars,
Oh,
the
yeah.
animated series.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, nice.
I added it to my watch list.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you click on something and then click on the little plus sign right next to it, then you can add it to your watch list so you can continue watching it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's totally, it's worth the money to me. I mean, monthly, I think I'm paying less than $8.
Yeah.
It's like 7 something, but it's totally worth it. But I think after this first season Mandalorian ends, I think I may cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then wait till the second season comes out, then buy it again.
That's the main draw for it.
It is. It is. All right. I think we've rambled on enough.
Let's put a nice bow on this episode.
Yeah. So, yeah, we will, I guess, see you guys. We'll hear you next week. You'll hear us.
They'll hear us. Yeah.
Next week. Well, I don't know. I never know how to end these.
Yeah.
Yeah.